What's up, Digidestins? Today we have another deck profile for you guys to enjoy, and I figured we talk about Blue Flare, shall we? Without further ado, let's dive into the video and talk about it. So first off, we have 4 Wanyamon. As long as you have a Tamer on board, you're going to be able to draw a card when you're attacking. Not a bad thing. We want the plus, we want the draw advantage, and that's what it's here for. Then we do have 4 EX4 Gaussmon. Gaussmon basically says when a Blue Flare card is played, draw a card. Twilight would be a different story, but we don't have any Twilights in the deck, so we're just going to be drawing advantage whenever we play a Blue Flare. So, not bad. We like Gaussmon's draw advantage. Then we do have the Gaussmon that literally plays something if it's deleted. So, on deletion, you may play 1 level 4 Digimon with Blue Flare in its traits, suspended without paying its cost. Not a bad trade-off. Gaussmon be able to spam out bodies. Then we do play 2 Sayokomon. So Sayokomon's opponent's turn, your opponent cannot reduce Digi-Evolution costs. This will stop mental trainings and any green shenanigans outside of there. So all the trainings get shut off by this. So we want to slow down decks like that, and I feel like Sayoko is kind of the way you want to do it. Then we do have 4 of Greymon. So he's a top 4 searcher, basically looks for Blue Flare in its traits, adds up to 2 Blue Flares in his traits, and then place the rest at the bottom of the deck in any order. You know the drill here, so we're looking for that. But if you have a Kiriha, you may return 1 Metal Greymon from your trash without paying its cost. From your trash added to your hand. Not a bad trade-off. On deletion, save basically tucks itself under a Tamer. And then when attacking, if your opponent has... If this Digimon is a Blue Flare, and if your opponent has 2 or more Digimon, you get to unsuspend, allowing you to multi-attack. Kind of useful, right? Multi-attacks are always good. Then we do have 4 of EX4 Male Burdra. So basically, this thing gives a Ice Wall effect to one of your opponent's Digimon for its on-play, but, you know, on deletion, save, and it also gives a jamming inheritable. So you combo it really nicely with, you know, the Greymon with the extra security check, so you can at least do jamming multi-attacks with nothing to worry about. Then we do have 2 of the old classic Bt-14 Male Burdra. So Male Burdra is on play. If you have a Kiriha in play, you may return 1 Metal Greymon from your trash to your hand. If you don't have a Kiriha in play, you may play 1 Kiriha from your hand without paying its cost. On deletion, save, and then basically... This gives a stun effect if this Digimon is a Blue Flare and your opponent has 2 or more Digimon. One of your opponent's Digimon cannot basically attack or block until the end of the opponent's turn, so it gives a stunning effect. So it's not terrible there. And then we do have 3 Security Checker Greymon, because why not? We want to check them securities, make our opponent have a bad time. And then we do have 4 Metal Greymon. So this thing has material save too. So basically it'll always put the 2 materials it has underneath, set yourself up, and basically have yourself a good time. So this is very important. It has on play, it gains rush, but also any of your opponent's Digimon that has less than or equal to the sources you have become instantly stunned up to 3 of your opponent's Digimon. Get that effect, so they basically can't do anything, so that's really solid. But it's a Digicross between a Male Burdramon and a Greymon, so it's always going to do what it wants to do. So that rush really does help out. Now for a new card that we're playing, and that is Zudomon Ace. So Zudomon Ace has his Blast Digi-Evolution, basically allowing you to play on your opponent's turn. So on play when Digivolving, trash 2 Digi-Evolutions of one of your opponent's Digimon, then return 1 of your opponent's Digimon with no Digi-Evolution cards to the owner's hand. So being able to bounce a threat off board, sometimes, you know, your opponent might have a Psychmon on board. It's not bad to have Zudo Ace be able to get that thing off the board. So definitely keep this in mind. Zudo Ace is really powerful. Being able to strip sources really does come up. Then we do have 2 Metal Greymons from EX04. So basically, rush, and this thing basically says, you know, if Digicrossing, trash up to 2 opponent's Digimon cards of one of your opponent's Digimon. So basically, you get to remove any targeted you want. Really helps out. It has material save too, and a blue Greymon and a male Bergera. So you can't use your red security Greymon, which is fine. But when attacking, it's inheritable. If this Digimon has Dark Grey Knightmon, and one of your opponent's Digimon has 3 or fewer cards, cannot attack until the end of the opponent's turn. We don't really care about the inheritable. It's just another Metal Greymon target just to give us enough resources. Then we are playing 2 Zeeg Greymon. So when it can Digivolve on top of your Metal Greymons for a 2 cost, or you may 3 or 3 on top of your blues. So it's not bad at all. But when Digivolving, unsuspend this Digimon, then if a card with Blue Flare or Cross Art in its traits in its Digi-Evolutions, and your opponent has 2 or more Digimon, you basically gain 2 memory. On deletion, save, and then basically has a blocker inheritable if this Digimon is Blue Flare. So, allows you to multi-attack, really quite useful. Then we do have the one spicy of, and that is the new Secret War Greymon. You guys might be looking at, why are we playing this card? Well, it's actually quite simple here. So, we're not caring about the Tamer effect. It's when Digivolving. When Digivolving, this Digimon gains Raid and then may attack. And then when attacking, if you have a Tamer, this Digimon gains Security Attack 1 and Piercing. So, basically, you get to swing in, deal some damage, and take care of opponent's threats off the board. It's 12,000 DP. It can take on most ultimates very easily in this game. So, definitely, it's something worth taking a consideration of. Just being able to just raid and take care of something. So, very useful. And being able to attack. It can attack as long as it had Rush. So, it's all potentials here. Then we are playing 2 Death Axes because in this format, you really want to be able to control the board. So basically, comes cheaper the wider the board gets your opponent's side with Tamers and Digimon. And then on play, when Digivolving, de-Digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon and delete all level 4 lowers. And then at end of your opponent's turn, delete all your opponent's Digimon with the lowest play cost. So basically controls the board state, which is really solid. Then we do play 4 Kiriha and Nenes. So basically, if there are 2 or more Digimon in play, gain a memory. This card is treated as Kiriha, so it can be searched. And then all turns, when you would Digicross for a Blue Flare or Twilight, basically you can take 1 source from trash and 1 from underneath one of your Digimon, under your Tamer, or you can take from your hand. So basically allows you to have a multitude of options. Ways of dealing and setting up your board state. So, Kiriha and Nene at 4, I think is really solid where you want to be at. Then we have 2 Kiriha, your mem setter of the deck, and basically allows your blue flares to basically take any Digimon underneath their Tamers. So, you want to have enough between them to make it justified, and Kiriha is just really solid, especially since you will be Digicrossing and using the stuff that you tuck underneath with your save effects. So, I think that's really good. Then we are playing not 1, but 4 of the Blazing Memory Boost. So basically, check the top 6 cards of your deck, and this is where people really get annoyed with it, is that you get to add up to 2 Blue Flares traits among them to your hand, and then you can play 1 Christopher, or aka Kiriha, from the searched, if there is a Tamer, and then basically play the Tamer and then go for it. So, always remember you got to add 2 Digimon for you to play the Tamer. You can't just play the Tamer and then add just 1 Digimon. You have to add 2 Digimon Blue Flare cards to your hand. So remember that Kiriha cannot play itself if it's just Kiriha and another Digimon, and then you whiff the rest of the targets. So keep that in mind, and then basically gain 2 memory afterwards as a delay cost. So we kind of like that. We really want that. And then finally, in this meta, where it matters the most is Soul Rai. Soul Rai basically says strip the top 4 Digimon cards of your opponent's Digimon, of one of your opponent's Digimon, and then basically your opponent's Digimon with no Digi-Evolutions cannot attack. So if you strip the Mega, you're kind of in a good spot. It's all good and dandy where it comes from. So stuff like this is really what you want to keep in mind. But guys, let's take a look at what the whole deck list looks like once we spread it out. Excuse me. So the deck is really very solid. There's nothing wrong with the list. So if you're blue flaring it up, you will have a good time. I think spicy text wise, having this in here is just really spicy. Your opponent won't expect it right away, so take advantage of it. Extra damage is never going to hurt, especially with jamming in our inheritables. Really can be a scary time for our opponent to deal with. So, all in all, the list is here, guys. So if you guys are excited, definitely take a check out. Let me know how you guys are building Blue Flare. Let me know down in the comments. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll catch you next one. Peace!